Have you ever been in a situation where you waited until you were ready before you started doing the damn thing? For instance, showing up online. Had been saying to yourself, when I'm ready, when I'm ready, when I'm ready, then I'll show up online. And then as we continue to doom scroll and we see that people are passing us by and we're so far along in the game called the internet, you start saying, dang, I've missed a boat. I've missed a boat. I've missed a boat. I want to tell this to you as someone who has been creating content online for majority of my life. So you see, creating content is not the problem for me. It's not the contrast for me in my experience. It's getting it out there is what I had been putting off because I said that it needed to be perfect, that needed to be edited, and that the game is now so advanced now that there's no point in participating in it unless it's perfect. Now, these are just all lies I'm telling myself that are preventing me from recording this video right now. So, this is the practice of me eating my own words and not waiting until it's perfect and not waiting until tomorrow. Because I'm going to be completely honest. Did I want to show up to this video? Absolutely not. But the fact that I had already started this process of wanting to talk to those who may be feeling this way, where they feel like they have to wait until they are perfected to start showing up online, I wanted to jump on here and to quickly shake you out of it because it's just a lie. It's just a lie that we're telling ourselves to keep us safe, which is understandable given all that's going on in the world. I think we're all trying to experience safety in our environment, in our finances, in our relationships, in our careers, in our jobs. And damn, if you're going to play this online game, safety is definitely challenged at a mental level, at least, to feel that you might be getting attacked. So I can hear you in terms of particularly wanting to show up online and saying that we're not ready or that it's not perfect yet. I know for me, the story that I told myself was that I wasn't healed enough yet, that I wasn't fully at 100% 2.0K short to show up online yet. And I'm going to tell you this as someone who started their YouTube channel back in 2011, I often tell myself, oh, if I would have just continued on that journey, if I would have just continued posting videos, where would I be now? And often, you're telling yourself, man, if I had, and maybe for you, if you're just thinking about starting online and you are telling yourself, oh, if I would have started earlier, my life would be completely different right now. I see all kinds of people making millions online, and that my financial situation would be different right now, and that I'd be able to provide for my family right now. That my mindset would be different now, that this situation and circumstances would just be different right now. And so you might be feeling a sense of sadness, a sense of grief, a sense of embarrassment or shame that you realize that it's just been you who's been standing in your own way, and the lies that we've allowed our brain to tell us and for us to believe. And you've realized that you've been standing on the sidelines when you could have been playing the game all along. And I think what's more painful is realizing that if you would have started sooner, you would probably be MVP right now. Because the reality is, if while you're standing on the sidelines, mind you, might be just sitting on the bench. I think for me, I was more so sitting on the bench. That I don't know about you, but when I sit on the bench and I'm watching the players play, sometimes I'm saying, I could do better than that. I know what to have done in that situation, or this is what I would have done differently. Nonetheless, you're still sitting on the bench. And sitting on the bench can mean that you're still going to practice, you're still doing the drills, you're still showing up, you still got your jersey on, you're still listening to the coach, you're watching the play by plays, you're watching the games back, you got some new kicks on, and yet you're still on the sidelines. And look, I ain't trying to come for you. I'm really just talking to myself 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when I told myself that I had to be fully healed, fully ready, and fully 2.0 before I can actually show up. And even in these day to day challenges, even right now, I'm like, y'all, I'm going to just be honest. Today has been a day. It's been a day. And I was like, I don't want to show up. I don't want to press record. I don't want to do all the things that it takes to be online. And because of how my brain works, since I've already started the sprint, I'm like, well, might as well just keep on going. And that's what I'm learning about the process, that even when I don't feel like it, that maybe that's a signal that I should just get started now. Because I don't know about you, and I'm an example of it right now. Sometimes, and I'm going to be even more honest with you. I said, because I was about to change and work out, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't feel like working out. But I've told myself that if I at least put on workout clothes, then I'm more likely to work out and at the very least move my body so I can dispel the icky, sticky energy that's in my body. And so then I looked at myself and I was like, that bandana's cute. You look all right. You should probably record a video, even if you don't feel like it. And so here I am. And so, what I really want to tell you is that it's one thing to sit on the sidelines, it's another thing to actually play in the game. And if you are feeling that sense of grief and loss and sadness and shame and embarrassment of all this lost time, what I'd like to tell myself that yes, even though you started your YouTube channel over 10 years ago, and yes, you could have been creating content, posting content, and showing up online all this time, I want to acknowledge the time, space, and lived experience that needed to happen for you to show back up online as a version of yourself that is more than good enough to show up online right now. I say this because as someone who pays attention to musical artists, if you listen to some of their interviews, and if they are at a point in their career, probably early on in their career, and they're just like pumping out music and they're just playing into the machine, at some point you run out of things to sing about. At some point you run out of things to talk about as a content creator. At some point, you run out of things to write about. At some point, you run out of things to do your comedy skit about. At some point, you run out of things to paint, to draw, to create. And at that point, that's when you see artists, musical artists at least, take a break and take a step back and to get back to living, to get back to life, so that they have something to write about, to sing about, to rap about, to create content about, and just to create in general. And so I say this to myself, who feels like, to my younger self, to the version of me years ago, that sure, I can feel grief and sadness and shame and overwhelm and be like, damn, I missed the boat, or I waited too long, or I should have just shown up, which I should have, I could have, I would have. But also, I would not be here willing to show up live imperfectly, yet perfect, with as much conviction in who I am, in what I do, what I can offer, what I'd like to contribute, reveling in all of my gifts, talents, and abilities, to show up so confidently live and not care as much. I'm going to be real, not care as much as what people think if I didn't take that time and space to rest, to recover, to reflect, to recuperate, to rejuvenate, and any other R word you could think of, even if it took 8 years. And if you really think about it, talking to my younger self, if you really think about it, to reprogram a superhuman brain, you had already been living for 28 years. You've adopted so many people's bullshit beliefs, whether it come from your parents, your family, your friends, your school peers, your teachers, your pastors, your babysitters, your older siblings, your younger nieces and nephews, your girlfriends, the boyfriends that never happened. And gosh, academia. Yeah, it's going to take some time to undo those bullshit beliefs and plant new seeds and begin first off, the time it takes to take out all those weeds for 20 years. Come on now. 28 years. It's going to take some time. And then you got to plant new seeds. And then you got to plant those new seeds, water those new seeds, give it the nutrition, give it the sunlight, get it around the right other kinds of plants and thingamajiggies in a garden. And then you got to be so patient to allow them to grow and then to adapt after breaking ground. And then to continue just to show up and practice being this new being that you have broken through, transformed into, and are now currently experiencing. So, yeah, 8 years makes sense. And for you, a decade makes sense. 15 years makes sense. A couple years makes sense. We're live. I have alarms on my phone telling me to get ready for bed, even if the sun's still out. But yeah, it makes sense. That's going to take some time. So there's no point for me. There's no point of grieving where I could have been, who I would have been, where I'd be at, what I could be able to do for whoever I wanted to do it for if I would have stayed on YouTube for the 10 years. There's no point because all I have is right now. And I showed up for this video right now. Even if I didn't want to, even if it's imperfect, and even if all of these alarms go off to remind me of what time it is. Now is the time. So I hope that this video encourages you that you're never too late, that you're never too early, that you're right on time, and that all you have to do right now is make the decision, is to make the decision that you're going to start right now. And more importantly, if you know yourself enough that sometimes you got to either put yourself in the position by putting on the clothes that are cute enough to do the things, to put yourself in the environment, to get you in the mindset to do the things, for you to set up the things, aka the phones and the mics and the laptops and whatever, to do the things. Like, you're a smart human being. You know yourself. So put yourself in the right conditions to do the thing that you've been putting off so you can do them right now. All right. I love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was encouraging for you. And I hope that's just an example of just like, you know what? Yeah, she would be a millionaire right now if she would have stayed on YouTube for 10 years. But I'm already speaking to myself. I'm already rich. I'm already rich. I've already experienced and know and believe the millions of dollars that have been invested in myself, the $1 million that I can create in the future, the $1 million that live within me, the $1 million ideas that live within me. It all already exists, but I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have believed that if I would have kept going with my YouTube channel 10 years ago, because I wouldn't have allowed any time and space to reflect, to refocus, to reprogram myself. So I'm here now, ready to share with you, my younger self, and anyone that feels like they're on a similar path and a similar journey. So if you feel like that you are, and you would like to work with each other, then feel free to check out the links in the description below. If you want to work with me personally, if you just want to support and keep me caffeinated, that might be changing soon because wanting to untangle myself from caffeine and just use it more intentionally, strategically, not as the normal. But yeah, if you are vibing with this, then feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I hope it encourages you to show up just as you are, right here, right now, because you are more than enough and you are more than ready. All right, y'all, start now. See you in the next video.